Vinland Saga. So I have been meaning to review this anime for a while now, and it's also personally because it's one of my favorites, but also because it's airing right now. As of March 2023, season 2 is out, and I have been having a blast. I've honestly watched this anime twice, but yeah, that's also why I'm going to give this review, because I really feel like both my runs are very different, and a review is definitely needed for the same. Before getting into the technical parts of the review, I'll probably give a small synopsis. I really wanted to talk about the studios that have been working or have worked on Vinland Saga along with its musical composer, because I really feel like they deserve that recognition. So for starters, in season 1, Studio Wit has been responsible for Vinland Saga, and Studio Wit has worked on shows like, if you're not aware, Spy X Family, Ancient Magus' Bride, and the initial seasons of Attack on Titan. For season 2, on the other hand, Studio Mappa has worked on it, and if you're somebody who's been in the anime community for a long period of time, you already know Studio Mappa. It's pretty famous. It has worked on the later seasons of Attack on Titan, but you probably will recognize the other shows as well that it's worked on, and it is Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Rue and I'm, and honestly many more. As for the musical composer, now this bit is important and probably it would make more sense to discuss in the main review. But for now, Yutaka Yamada has worked on it, and he's also worked on the soundtracks of Tokyo Ghoul and The Great Pretender. He's done a great job, and I'll get to that. So what to expect from the story itself? Well, season 1 will not shy away from its intensity. It's not going to be as fast-paced as your shonen action sequences. However, I think that's ideal considering the tone the mood is trying to set. And season 1 definitely is going to focus more on war, the concepts of love, slavery, what it means to have true strength, what does it mean to be a true warrior, what does duty look like, what's the impact on, the general mass, who really is the enemy. I think that's one of the things I was really interested in, and especially what does the concept of revenge look like, and does it really happen? Does life really work out the way you want it to? So for the same reasons, season 1 is gonna be pretty interesting. I do like how the plot advances forward, and I also really like how we're able to focus outside of Thorfinn as well. As for season 2, so I have been watching season 2, and it definitely is going to be a break from, it probably is going to be a break from a lot of the war and action sequences we saw. So far, 7 episodes in, I really like how they have laid out the entire thing. It's pretty interesting as well, and I am still really interested to see how not only Thorfinn but the newer characters around him. That's a spoiler. As for season 2 is going to be slower for sure, but a lot of the manga community has definitely said that there's going to be character development, and we're all fans of character development, are we not? So for such a theme or setting, I personally feel that it's worth it, but a small tip. For people who are going to binge watch, I would recommend giving a small cool down period between season 1 and season 2, and that's primarily because of the change in the arc, the theme, the mood, the setting, especially for people who are really going to just binge from season 1 to season 2. So there's that. As for the musical score, I really do feel like they've done a good job. I did promote it initially, and my main reason for saying this is because Vinland Saga is based on a time, based on a place that's wildly different from ours, and with that music we're able to better relate and connect with not only the characters but all the things that are happening over there. In my first run itself, my expectations were honestly laid out pretty straight, because I kind of knew what to expect then. I knew that this show was going to be a little serious. It is, trying to put us into a vibe that is very different from us currently. But I honestly keep going back to the soundtracks even now, because they really are good. So if you're also interested in checking them out, I have given the links below. They are available in your official platforms, music streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. As for the pace, I personally like the pace because it's able to find that balance between action, fighting sequences, and discussing heavy themes. It gives you just the right amount of time to reflect on everything that's being discussed, whether it's an exchange of dialogues between characters, whether it's just a personal inner monologue on certain concepts or themes. And yeah, I feel like the story isn't hard to follow for the same reason, because it does discuss a lot about war and how the whole history and the whole timeline and events are taking place, how your enemies are honestly changing at all times. So there's that as well. But it is going to feel slightly slower as compared to your other action-packed shonen anime. But does it really matter? It's seinen anime. As for voice acting, well, there's a reason why we all keep going back to subs. There's a reason why we all prefer Japanese voiceover, and that's because the voice actors do a great job with whatever that they do, because honestly it is so easy to understand, and it's so easy to identify a bunch of emotions that these voice actors are displaying in the characters. Honestly, I especially like the voice actor of Thorkel. I feel like he was really well expressed. You are definitely going to feel a little more connected with the characters because of the voice acting. So there's that. But it's worth it.
아후! 俺は喧嘩は大好きだが負けるのは大嫌いだ。やるなら勝ちに行く。つまんねえな。世界中がずっと喧嘩してたらいいのにな。
And for my final review, who is it meant for? I feel like I wanted to cover this because I see a lot of comparisons being made for one anime with the other, or then again it's again compared with some other show altogether, and I feel like that's not really the right way of comparing. You can't really compare, let's say, Demon Slayer to Berserk. Those who know, they know. Or to give a simplified example, you can't compare Naruto to Haikyuu. See, I've started with this twice. Way back once when I was in college, I gave Vinland Saga a try, and honestly I was so focused on who's the villain, who's the bad guy, does he get his revenge or not, where's the action sequence, all of these things that when I sat the second time round, I was like, whoa, my experience is completely different this time, because this time I focused on the story, the complex themes and ideas that were being discussed, the motivations of different characters, also outside of just Thorfinn, and actually coming to realize just what the show is heading towards, which will be in my essay video, not here. But if you're not in the headspace of doing it, kind of put it on your wish list. But in a nutshell, I think I can see myself sitting with Vinland Saga yet again for the third time, simply because of how I really feel like I come out with a new experience every single time I sit with it. So my first one was different, my second is different. Let's see how my third goes, because as we kind of mature up, our understanding on certain themes and issues also mature with us, and that's what makes the show interesting. So to summarize, on the Rue Meter it is an 8.5. Though personally for me, because I really like it, it's gonna be a 9. Just my personal bias, as I'll say. Finally, if you watched Vinland Saga, do share in the comments what you personally like about the show. And if you haven't, is there anything you would like me to review? I do review outside anime as well. Video games, books, movies, series, shows, any creative works, poems even. I really like reading poems as well, and I've been exploring a lot of those. And finally, if you do like ruminating on different stories and creative works, then do consider subscribing, or at least checking my channel out. If you like this video, show some support. Other than that, bye. Have a great day ahead.